All right, folks, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to do a little intro. I'm Kai. I'm faculty lead for our AI Kitchen initiative. So welcome, welcome. This is our very first ever session. Yay! We've been planning this for a couple of months now. Sanjeev Das is also one of our faculty advisors on the project. And then we've got Tiffany and Tripti, who are also some of our student leads, and a number of other folks here who have advised and also helped out on getting us all started here as we work towards the launch. I want to introduce the concept a little bit and then go over what our plan for the day is today. So, get the clicker working, but the first thing that I want you all to do is to actually sign in. The reason for this is that we can know who showed up. And also, we are going to be able to gift you all a 1-month subscription to Claude Pro, which I'll talk about a little bit more in this session. But it's one of the most powerful tools out there right now for doing this kind of AI-powered work across different disciplines. And we'll use it in our session today, which is focused on creating slide deck presentations. So we really wanted to get all of you started on that. And we're able to do this thanks to generous support from the SCU Regents through their Regents Experiential Learning Initiative that is supporting the AI Kitchen. What's changing and what's the motivation for having AI Kitchen in the first place? So a lot of things are changing, and namely AI is rewriting a lot of the way that writing gets done, that code gets shipped, how research happens in my own practice as a researcher in computer science and specifically human-computer interaction. We've heard a lot also from how this is changing things in industry. So we have our advisory board for our computer science department. And in that discipline, they're talking about how the folks there who are very senior software engineers haven't written any code manually for months, but are instead just reviewing the code. And so acting in a very different capacity and leveraging some of the AI tools and services. So they're really pushing us and our department to move towards teaching some of these AI tools and techniques. But I don't think that AI is, just limited to computer science, although perhaps it's having the greatest impact there in the field of software engineering first. It's really something that's going to apply across a lot of different disciplines that all involve knowledge work. And I think there's also a big gap in the academic space. That is, a lot of what we teach in our courses as academics, we like to teach courses that stay the same, and we can use the same PowerPoint for a decade, and we don't have to change anything. It's hard to update things and teach things that are moving targets. And so what I wanted to then do with AI Kitchen is to actually create a space that's more hands-on, more experimental, where it's not just me teaching you, but we can bring in people from industry. Some of you, I hope, will get to present in the future, and we can really learn from each other, create a space for knowledge sharing around some of these practices. So yeah, we have these CS spaces. We have my own HCI lab. Those tend to be, I guess, more curated, smaller spaces. And this, I wanted to create a more open access space where anyone can drop in from different majors and come together and work on these kinds of tools and play with them in a hands-on way. And so that's why we're really trying to bring in also people from industry, from different universities. And we have a number of those folks in the room here today already, actually, and they'll introduce themselves in a bit as well. So why are we using this kitchen metaphor? What is a kitchen in this context? We wanted to go beyond thinking of a space that's just like a stereotypical kind of tech bro space, and use a metaphor that is a little bit more welcoming or inclusive. And there's a lot of research that bears this out, that if you sort of can introduce computer science and some of the topics around AI in ways that are around like creating media and creating other kinds of artifacts, it can be a lot more welcoming to people from all different backgrounds. So we really want to welcome people from different backgrounds and majors to participate, because I think that's where the best work gets done. And so that's why we're using this familiar, communal, creative metaphor of a kitchen where everyone really has a place. How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to have two kind of formats. That is to say, we're going to have these taste test sessions where every Friday we're going to meet up and we're going to have someone conduct a live tutorial and show off some of the workflows. And so it's not going to be always super polished, but rather it's going to be someone showing you how they work with AI as a kind of material to get something done in their line of work. And so I'm going to kick us off and talk about creating slide deck presentations from templates using Claude Design, which just came out. And then we're going to have other speakers, and I'll go over the schedule in a little bit, who will demo their workflows in real estate, in finance, and in making games and thinking like an engineer in other areas. So we're very excited about that, and also welcome contributions from people in other spaces that aren't included yet. And so that will really be sort of hands-on practice, and we hope that that will then lead to a number of what we're calling slow roasts or deeper projects. And we've started posting a bunch of those onto a spreadsheet on the website that you can see and peruse. And those are really open for anyone to get started on. And so you don't need to ask for permission. You can just start working on them, sharing what you do in the Discord. And many of them have like a name attached to them. Like I've listed a whole bunch of projects that I'm interested in and probably would never, ever have time to do. And I would encourage you to just take a shot at it. And I'll be here and I can give you a little bit of mentorship. And if it seems like it's really promising and you're really motivated to carry it up forward, maybe I can start advising it in some capacity in my lab. But also the idea is that it shouldn't just be my lab, but rather it can be David's lab or other people's labs on campus, so that we build that kind of connection between students and faculty who are interested in topics around AI, and also not just CS. Yeah.
Where do we find the Discord link?
We will share that shortly. Or Tiffany, do you have an answer for that? Yeah.
Yeah, I can make a QR code, and at the end of Professor's presentation, we can put that up for you to see.
Good question. We also hope that maybe some of our industry mentors can advise some of the projects as well. And we're open to projects that go in lots of different directions. Of course, like selfishly, I'd love to see some research projects. But we'll also would be glad to see things that are entrepreneurial or social impact that we want to do in the space that involve AI workflows. So what are we going to do today? We're going to do some hellos and a little icebreaker activity to just understand who's even in the room here. And that'll take up the first piece of our session. Then we're going to do a little bit of a tool setup, so get you all set up with Claude Pro. And we'll do a live tutorial then at 2:30, where I'll demo how to create slide deck presentations with Claude Design and Claude Pro that you have access to. You'll have a hands-on exercise to actually try that out yourselves. And then we'll have some time to actually do project work. So you can, connect with each other, continue on what the exercise was that we were doing in class today, or take on one of the projects, or come up with your own idea and pitch it to others here. I think some of us already have ideas in mind that they might want to share, and find other people to work on with. All right, so let's see. I want to go around the room and get a sense for who's here. So I want you to just say your program, what year you're in, and one thing that interests you in the AI kitchen. And so we'll go around and get a sense for everyone who's here. Lisa, you want to go ahead?
Start. So I'm Lisa. I'm in mechanical engineering. I'm a sophomore, And one thing that blew me in about AI Kitchen is how we discuss topics around AI and like kind of destigmatize it so that everybody can also like think about how AI can be integrated into like real world projects. So that's something that I was really interested in.
Right. Sanjeev, do you want to say hello? Yeah.
I'm Sanjeev Das. I'm a professor in finance. I've been in the university 25, 26 years. I work in the same building here. I'm working in fintech mostly. I'm also, some of you might have used Jupyter. I'm part of the Jupyter open source team that maintains Jupyter. So, do open source work, and I'm one of the maintainers of Jupyter AI, which is interesting extension to Jupyter, which we'll talk about later.
That's right.
Hi, I'm Nazia. I'm an AI researcher and I'm from University of Cincinnati, and I'm also a software developer. And today I'm here to learn more about like how AI can help for researchers. So yeah, I'm very excited to be here today.
I'm Omer. My major is math, and what pulled me in is I use AI like every day, so I thought it'd be fun.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben. I'm a first year business student, however I'm undecided, and something that pulled me in is that I want to take advantage of the AI boom and learn about it. So,
Hi everyone, I'm Sandy. I'm currently a sophomore in the accounting and information system. And something that pulled me in is that I want to learn about more AI questions. Apply it to like business functions.
Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. I'm a third year accounting major, and something that pulled me in was like the short tutorial from.
Hi everyone, my name is Timothy. I'm a third year computer, and what put me in was just learn about it, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to learn more about AI.
Hi, I'm Aria. I'm a first year mechanical engineering student, and I guess I'm really interested in seeing how AI can enhance and augment like human interactions and tasks.
I'm Zach, CS Math, third year. One thing that pulled me in is that I'm using Cloud Code almost every single day. Just want to learn more about it other than Cloud Code.
Hi everyone, I'm Franco. I'm a third year computer science student. And the one thing that put me in, I use AI every day, so I'm usually interested in what's behind like how to use it, how to everything.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam with the student. What really put me in is I wanted to, I guess, other faculty and grad people just be able to how much a collaborative space with them.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean. I'm a master's student in CS. And what pulled me in for AI Kitchen was the fact that everyone has ideas here, and we need to show it, and I love ideas, and I want to learn more about everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm Kiki and I'm a PhD student. And one thing bringing me to AI Kitchen is because I'm interested in how Gen AI and how helping every angle of this life. And also want to see reality. Also I play AI Kitchen is the way that I can collaborate with some students to see the
Hi, I'm Carmina Mendoza. I'm a BA student here in DB, but I'm also an adjunct faculty in the School of Education and Counseling Psychology, teaching in the education department. And as a educator, I'm really interested in the applications of AI, from the TK all the way to higher ed. And I have tinkered a little bit with some applications for the student teachers and how to kind of like AI do the heavy lifting of like alignment of like objectives with common core standards or anything that I have seen that is very confusing for my student teachers. How can AI can support them?
Hi everyone, I'm Linus. I'm a second year CS major, and what drew me in was just being able to like work on projects together.
Everyone, I'm David Anastasio. I'm an associate professor in computer science and engineering. I have a research lab with a bunch of PhD students doing all work in AI. But beyond that, there's a lot to learn still about all these tools that are currently available. So I'm here to learn as much as every one of you.
I'm Bridget. I'm a first-year economics major, and I'm interested in learning more about AI and
I'm GP. I'm a fourth-year computer engineering major, and what drew me in is everyone's here from different backgrounds, so just understanding how people approach AI and learning more about the tools in general.
Hey everyone, I'm MJ. I use they, them pronouns. I am a PhD candidate from UC Santa Cruz. And in a few weeks, I'll actually be starting at Meta. My interest in coming here all the way up from Santa Cruz was, I use AI quite a bit, but what I've noticed is that everybody uses AI very differently. And I feel like there's a lot of things that I just haven't tried, and seeing how other people use AI would be really helpful, I think.
Hi everyone, my name is Oliver Gonzalez. I'm a master's student studying function systems. The thing that pulled me here today is to see what Claude has more to offer, how I can get efficient in my task. And I've been hearing about SCI Lab from my friends, so I wanted to come out here participate in AI.
Hi everyone, my name is Brian. I'm a first year CS student, and what drew me in was the different ways that we can use AI, and I was just pretty interested in that.
Hi everyone, I'm Ivy. I'm a senior marketing major, and one thing that pulled me in is I just want to learn more about how to use AI.
Hello everyone, my name is Matt. I am currently a grad student in robotics. I saw this AI kitchen this morning. I was like, oh, this thing looks cool. I want to just attend it. And you know what? I don't regret it. It's pretty damn close. It's exciting to have everyone who's got the spirit to experiment with new technology. And yeah, I currently use agentic workflows for game development. It's nice to meet y'all.
Hi everyone, I'm Wally. I'm currently working as an AI strategy principal at DD Global USA at San Jose. So the reason why I'm here at the AI Kitchen is we're kind of showing an event, and since we're actively looking for people who might be interested in designing products that are more related to agentic AI, well, I would say it's a good idea to see what people have been up to, what kind of ideas we have, and what kind of inspiration that we may get from the discussion. So, looking forward.
I'm Teresa Conifrey. I'm a faculty in English department. I teach 181 in the engineering class and I teach in the engineering management program. I'm also a student in a master's student in the GPPM program. And I'm here because I'm encouraging my students to use AI in all my classes, but to use it in a way that's effective for them. So I want to learn more about how that is. And I guess a more niche interest that I'm interested in virtue ethics, if virtue ethics could be an approach to help people figure out good ways to use, productive ways to use AI that help their learning.
Hi guys, my name is Karen. I work in our central marketing office, and I'm here really selfishly because I wanted to create intentional space to advance my use of AI, which I use all the time. I'm really interested in building some agents to help me do my work. I want to move over to co-work. I haven't made that move yet on Claude Pro, but because of the work that I do with central marketing, I'm also on the lookout for interesting stories, people to showcase, just to tell the stories of what's happening here at Santa Clara, but also to bolster our national reputation. So there's a recent survey that came out, but I can't remember the sources, Ivy something. But Santa Clara was on the short list of the top 10, 15 campuses where students actually have hands-on real experiences. And shout out to AI Collaborate because they were actually listed in part of their research. So things like this really do matter. So thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm a third year CSAN major, and I'm here because I want to know how we can use AI in multiple industries rather than just in tech or CS, but I don't want to see how it can be used in healthcare or business.
Hi everybody, I'm Ann McMahon. I work as Director of Special Projects in the President's Office. And I'm here because I want to learn a lot more about how people are using AI tools on campus, and I want to try to learn more about AI in terms of improving workflow, efficiency, and sort of in my work and in my office work.
Hi, my name is Oliver. I'm in electrical and computer engineering. What's the other question?
What brought you here?
Oh, I have a project that I'm working on, and since there's a lot of people here, I thought I could get some advice and help you learn some more about using AI in the project.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Luis Sarmenta. I'm actually going to be one of the industry mentors. I've been in industry working here most recently at Google. I was previously a professor in the Philippines at the Manila, which is also a Jesuit university. So I like working with students. I heard about this from Kai, and it sounded like a great opportunity. So I'm happy to, I'm giving a talk next week, and I'm happy to mentor. I'm also eager to learn. It seems like there's really a lot to learn from everybody.
So yeah, hi, I'm Tripti. I've recently joined as an AI operations lead at AI Kitchen. So the two things which I actually got motivated with is first that I know what conceptually AI is, but I don't have a hands-on experience on that. So I find this as a place wherein I can implement some of these things and learn how does it work. So that's the first motivation. The second was basically I've taken a course called Gen AI, wherein I got a chance to make a very basic version of one of the travel agents, but I want to know, like, expand my horizon more to implement in real life problem. So yeah, these are the two reasons why I am motivated about this and looking forward to it. Thanks.
Yeah, so I guess I'm the last person, but hello, my name is Tiffany, and I'm a second year CSEN major, and I am the studio lead for AI Kitchen. So I am here to communicate to you guys when the events are, what opportunities are available, projects, and more. So if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me. What really drew me to AI Kitchen was the fact that it's so welcoming to everyone. I really want to create a space where everyone can feel like they can make mistakes, learn, grow, and share their accomplishments with one another, because I think that's what our community here is for. We want to be a place where all of you guys can feel comfortable coming together, meeting new people, and learning from one another. I think a lot of you guys have said we're here from so many different backgrounds, and I think that is one of the most wonderful things about AI Kitchen. And so I'll also be here learning alongside you all, and if you have anything you ever want to talk about, I'm here for you.
Thanks, everyone. Well, I'm really excited that we have such a diverse group of people in the room. And let's do a little activity to get a vibe check in. So this is something that I borrowed from the Human-Computer Interaction Conference that I just went to last week. We did that as an activity at a workshop there, and I thought it was pretty fun. So we're going to do what's called a human spectrogram. And so I'm going to put up a series of statements related to AI on the board, and we're going to go from positioning yourselves along the outside of the room here, from strongly disagree to strongly agree over here. So if you strongly disagree, you're going to be over there. If you're somewhere in the middle, you're going to be somewhere there where David is. And if you strongly agree, you're going to be over here. So everyone's going to have to get up and position themselves here. All right. So here we go. Here's our first statement. I would low-key let AI plan my entire weekend. Well, this is going to be disagree, and so this is agree, and this is somewhere in the middle.
I'm going to stay in the middle on that one. No, that's agree. That's disagree.
It's nice to have like opinions from AI. Ultimately, you can join.
Wow, we have a pretty good spread. No one quite in that corner yet, but maybe we can hear from people at different corners of the room. Anyone over there want to share their perspective?
I like full control over what I'm going to do. Don't need anybody else's input.
Oh, so that's disagree.
Yeah, so that's gonna be disagree, and this is strongly agree here, so we're in the middle.
You originally put it the other way.
Oh, did I really? Oh, well, sorry, okay. Well, we'll do disagree and agree, going forward. So the last one agrees? Okay, well, maybe let's hear from some of the people who are still in the agree camp.
I mean, the AI just knows me sometimes better than I know myself. It wouldn't totally be without information from me. So I think it would come up with better ideas or uncover things to do that I wouldn't have thought of that I would actually enjoy. Yeah. You said low key, which I thought was a key phrase in your setup, so in your prompt.
Yeah, I asked it for what I'm doing with my kids this weekend, and I didn't accept the first recommendation because the Children's Museum on a rainy weekend is like too crowded. But the third recommendation was pretty damn good, so that's why I'm sort of somewhere in this slightly agree side of the ledger. All right, this is maybe more for the students, but AI has saved my GPA at least once.
Everybody forward to agree. Yeah, we didn't have
Okay. Anyone willing to disclose stories? I mean, I guess unless your professor is in this room, we won't share it.
I guess in a way, AI is kind of like a personal tutor. Like for example, like a topic in class that has been discussed, but like no matter how many times the professor will try and explain to you, no matter how many times like you still won't get it. And for AI, you can just keep prompting it until you understand it.
What was your use case?
In Anastasio's class for our program one, because we have a leaderboard for our class, and basically I just kept prompting Claude to give me ideas on how to make my algorithm better.
Right. Other examples?
Alright, so like basically I use AI a lot, but I wouldn't be strongly in agree though, because I like to use it for learning, right? I mean, I learned all sorts of stuff for my project for class. Maybe I use it for my project, in my opinion, but not as much for classes. And so that's why I kind of stand in like slightly agree. Yeah, that's my reasoning really.
Your wording it kind of like pivots to certain things because I do use AI, but I don't think it has contributed to my GPA significantly,
I think I want to hear like Professor Anastasio's class, and he lets us use AI, so that's encouraging. So I want to know why he disagrees.
No. So I'm here because when I was a student, there was no AI. So AI has never saved my GPA. My GPA is all me.
All right, next one. We have a lot of agreement. But yeah, anyone maybe in the strongly disagree camp, and then we do those two people in the middle?
Well, like art takes like creativity, and like AI like fundamentally cannot have creativity in the way that it like works. Like it's literally just like there's something different, between a person like thinking about their wildest dreams or anything, or an AI doesn't think unless you tell it to think.
Add to that, because I think there's another word to use besides creativity in this, that art is meant to evoke emotion, and AI inherently can't understand our emotions.
I feel like that's a really good point. I always feel like AI generated art is based off of someone else's art. And so I guess if we consider any creation as kind
the fact that generated art is art, but at the same time, there's like not as much creativity or originality or emotion, which I feel is one of the biggest parts of art.
For me, I think it has to do with how is the art generated by. It's straight up God making a picture, right? Then I'd be more in the disagree. But I think it can use AI to enhance our art. So it can be a collaborative process of generating art. In that case, I would call that real art. So, I'm terrified of drawing, but I can probably come up with some really cool art pieces if I use it. And because I'm the one prompting and changing and giving the idea of what should the art look like, I would call it.
But isn't the output based on all other people's art? Because that's where the training data is coming from, right? So it's not necessarily that you can give them the prompt, but then it's going to attribute it to whatever patterns they have seen in multiple, configurations of that art. So it's somebody else's arts that originated that data set to train.
Not necessarily, right? So the point of these models is it can see the entire distribution. It points in the middle of the, in between points that are real art. Right? So you may draw from some art distribution that doesn't actually exist in real world. Yeah, that's the whole point.
I think I'm going to table the discussion. I'm not going to resolve it here, but I think I'd encourage those discussions as part of the rest of the session. But let's go on to prompt 4 of 7.
I see people uploading their voice biometric data, and I'm like,
Just to optimize my, I would share everything.
Gemini because that's the whole reason.
But if this
It's like.
All right, maybe let's do someone on disagree, middle, and agree here.
Again.
You really set up camp in that.
These companies don't make money currently, right? So there's kind of a risk that somebody, Microsoft has a big chunk of OpenAI, and if OpenAI goes under, legally, like right now, they would never be able to get that data, like all the personal data that you shared with ChatGPT and the big memory that it's made of you. But if OpenAI goes bankrupt and Microsoft absorbs the company, there's a legal loophole right there to take all of that personal data, and now Microsoft can do whatever they want with it. So right now, it does not feel safe at all to share a bunch of personal things that I wouldn't tell anybody else.
Someone in the middle?
Well, for me, I know that I shouldn't share everything with AI, but then there's some moments where, sometimes I bend or share too much with the AI just because I'm trying to, focus more on what output I want to get. So sometimes I get desperate to share too much information, but I understand that, there's a security vulnerability here if, data is breached or anything like that. That's just why I'm more towards the middle side.
I think the argument really is about sharing basically everything, but sharing everything that's needed to do the job it does. So before joining DD, I used to work at Microsoft, just for information, and one of the practices that we have and one of the basic principles of using AI is to make sure that the user just going to comply with all the company and your personal data leakage to avoid legal problems or compliance problems. So rather than say I share basically everything, I would say a better argument is to say I share basically everything that I want to share with the AIs. which is the reason why I sort of disagree, but not completely.
I'm not saying I feel good about being this far on the side, but I got an invite to the Gemini beta that said, would you like to allow Gemini to have access to everything you've ever logged into with Google? And I said yes, because I was curious. And then I quizzed it on a bunch of stuff about myself, things that I did not believe were on the internet, and it knew a lot of things about me that I did not think the internet knew.
All right, and then apropos our last topic, Kiki and Manish, do you want to share that we have our computational creativity course?
So we have this course called Computational Creativity right in our year. It's taken by Professor Maya Ackerman, and she teaches about using AI in creative fields like art or video games too. Music. So if anyone, and we have discussions and debates over the exact topic that Professor Kai mentioned. So it'll be great to have more insights if any of you guys can join in and learn more.
Okay, a couple more.
Whoa, no. I'm gonna be here. No, I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, they don't actually use it, but they give really good stuff.
That's cool.
All right, for this one, maybe share like what you think of as your field and where you are in terms of or why you position yourself there. Let's start over there again.
For me, I'm in mechanical engineering, and I feel like for field like engineering, AI is more of like a support tool rather than like something that can actively take over jobs. And so I don't think it will look unrecognizable per se. I think it will maintain a lot of the same aspects that it does. It's just that AI will be mostly used as like an additional tool on top of the tools that I'm going to have to enhance.
Yeah, I think I've been a program manager throughout my years, like for 8 years. So what I see is AI is going to add on to it to make my decisions go rapidly fast, probably. I don't see AI probably eliminating the role which I was particularly in or my field. But I think AI is going to be a helper with me, like which initially was not there for me to go, and it used to take a lot of my time to figure out one right answer. So yeah, I believe AI is going to support me, at least for now, unless until it just gets trained on what my job does. So yeah.
I would say it's in terms of my field. Since I work in AI myself, it's one of these what's the future what going to be like questions that nobody will have an idea. I couldn't really tell whether my field is going to be the same kind of field I'm working on right now within 2 months, not to mention 2 years. But that being said, there are a bunch of principles in AI or maybe software engineering generals, dozens of them, that are going to remain unchanged. But in terms of the actual implementation of it, it is going to be in a way that we're not going to recognize. Say we wouldn't probably write any code anymore to implement the AI, but we would rather think about some design patterns to see what the product is actually going to look like, rather than what kind of data structures or what kind of database that we're going to use.
I'm speaking for English and humanities. A lot of faculty are very nervous, very, very nervous. People have all kinds of different policies. Absolutely no AI use. Submit your Google Docs, so submit everything as Google Docs so you can see work in progress and so on. And then others are, well, it's here, we have to live with it. People are changing their assignments, conferences in the humanities. It's really a hot topic. So who knows? I think maybe there'll be more personalized education, different assignments, different ways of grading.
I'll give maybe another perspective in the academia domain, but I think one of the things that might change is also the way that we incentivize academics, in that the currency of academia is publications, and at least in my field, like the peer review process, which is kind of the gold standard, that is you submit a journal article or conference paper and a bunch of other academics in your field review it and rate it and decide whether it's going to be accepted, I think is going to break down because there's going to be so much AI-generated content that the ability to review that content, like with human eyes, might just not be there. And then we'd have to rethink the entire way that sort of work is reviewed and evaluated and incentivized. And that's connected to the way that all academics get promoted, hired, fired, etc.
Just to add to that, in the social sciences, the research involves a lot of human subjects, and now there are some areas that are actually starting to pivot into digital twins before you actually go into the field to collect your data to see how will a person will answer to your questions or how the community will react to whatever is happening. But then it's like, is that actually contaminating the true research that, because you already come with a preconceived notion of how it's gonna look like, before you actually go into the community to collect your data. So, something really explore.
All right, 2 more. Any thoughts here?
Such a fire tool. Why should you be shy of change? I think it's always good to have innovation to develop students and adapt into whatever comes our way. That's why I'm very bringing people around.
I think it just gives me a lot of confidence to see that there is something that's there to help me in my own space and I don't have to be lagging behind. So I feel like even though I'm from an industry which is probably not that tech heavy, but I can at least talk and learn more about the other industries. So it helps me to work better in that space. So I don't see I think my life would be better off if AI went away tomorrow. So yeah, I think that's my opinion.
I think for a lot of people, I mean, we've been doing things without AI for like forever, and I think if AI went away tomorrow, we as humans would still be able to like keep fighting and keep innovating in new ways. And AI right now at the moment is not really profitable. It's hurting the environment, hurting the job market. There's not a lot of good things coming from it. I'm sure it's debatable if it will be in the future, but we don't really know. So, and the world before it wasn't that bad.
I would like to have like a new perspective. Like for example, there's like VLMs, vision language models, and then I guess like a practical use for it was basically assisting people who have like visual training, right? So like a lot of practical applications that maybe help someone kind of 4 different options, able to have a bigger variety of stuff. So I guess it's not always about like necessarily like if we can be productive as humans, but maybe enabling other people as well.
I'd like to second that point. AI is not just LLMs and chatbots. It's a lot of other things to explaining. Okay.
Because of fast-paced change today, change is good. That's the part that makes me want to be a little more better off at a more gradual adoption. We're currently going at it with all the startups, big companies, first, not this community to get out perspective.
Isn't the consensus that AI isn't going away? I mean,
Yes.
it's not going away, so you better.
Yeah, to be clear, this is not a prediction.
Yeah.
This is like, a normative judgment, not a prediction, right? I'm not saying we could invent this future necessarily. Yes. All right, well, the very last question is the true litmus test. So just be careful because the AIs are watching.
Is it okay to take a picture?
That's right, just think very carefully where you position yourselves.
It was just.
Oh yeah, I'm over here.
I'm so scared of this part of AI. This one?
All right, so Anthony, you need to get a picture of me over here so we can send that to the AI. But then maybe secretly I'd like to be over there, which is what I'd like to do with AI Kitchen, which is to say that a lot of our values in my field of human-computer interaction are thinking about not just like what does the technology do, but what do we want it to do? So that normative question of like how do we want to actually apply the technology for human benefit and social good. And so I hope that here at least in AI Kitchen we can create a space around those sorts of conversations. Anyone else?
I think it's interesting that most people didn't move. That they were almost opposite questions. I don't know what I mean, but it's interesting.
All right, well, let me finish our intro of today's activities and then we'll get you set up with Claude Pro before we do our tutorial. Okay, we'll put that up again. How can we get people started on Claude Pro? Do you have the spreadsheet and stuff? Because we'll want to send out those invitations to everyone.
So if you could go quickly back to how the sheet, so all you need to do is just
So if you joined us after we got started, go ahead and sign in because the next thing that we're going to do is also get you set up with a at least free 1 month plan for Claude Pro, and that's what we're also going to be using as a tool in our session today.
Do you get a sponsor?
What's that?
Did Anthropic sponsor?
Unfortunately not, but we can thank the regents. So those are like a board of, let's give a round of applause for the regents. They're, I think, a board mostly of SU alumni who are dedicated to supporting the university, and they have what's called the Regents Experiential Learning Initiative that supports activities like this that are around like hands-on learning for people to develop, ideas about their future career path. All right, everyone have the QR code? All right. So today we're going to use Claude Pro. You may have noticed on the AI Kitchen website at theaikitchen.org, we have a list of recommended tools that you can check out. And our top recommendation for a general purpose sort of AI assistant is Claude, because I think it's done the best job out of any tool so far in allowing you to go beyond the paradigm of a chatbot. So I think the way that all of us started with AI in this most recent incarnation in the form of LLMs was by interacting with something like ChatGPT as in the form of a chatbot, where you would just send a message, it would send something back, and you could sort of converse. And that's pretty useful, but I would say that this next iteration of AI is even much more useful in that when you use something that has a powerful harness, and by harness, I'm using vocabulary from Ethan Mollick, who's a thinker at the University of Pennsylvania on these topics. He talks about how a harness allows you to access things like the file system on your computer, to use tools on your computer. So to write scripts, it does a lot of codes or scripts in Python that allow you to perform all sorts of additional activities. It accesses skills and plugins, so sort of recipes for being able to reproduce the same workflow over and over again, which is something that I'll demo today, actually, in our tutorial. And then also allows you to connect and plug into different other services like Gmail or Google Drive or your calendar. And so depending on how you answer that question about sharing everything with AI, that may be more or less interesting or exciting to you, but it definitely makes AI a lot more powerful if you give it access to some of these sources of information. And Claude Code, of course, is a part of Claude as well, and it's very powerful for building sort of pretty standard off-the-shelf websites and such. And so the AIKitchen.org is just an example of a website that we built that way as well. A few FAQs about what the AI Kitchen is and is not. It's not a course, so you're not getting course credit, sorry. There's no curriculum. There's no real progression in a sense, in that what Luis is going to talk about next week doesn't necessarily build on or require you to come to this session here. Rather, we're trying to engage different speakers who will talk about all kinds of different workflows from their own industries or domains. Of course, you will build sort of a body of knowledge and hopefully get more and more familiar with different tools over time. So for instance, Cameron Bahar, who's the CTO at Sprinter Health, is going to talk with us in a couple of weeks about Ralph loops for travel planning. So how you can do like pretty sophisticated road trip planning in sort of like a one-shot prompt or a couple-shot prompt. And that will also use Claude. And so if you start today, you'll have some knowledge of how to use the tool for the time when you attend that session as well. We'll also open this to the public. And so, people from industry are welcome to attend. We are going to require 18 or over just because the university has a bunch of policies around minors that are a bit tricky to navigate. I mentioned before that we're going to have these different formats, but specifically we're going to have these projects or slow roasts, and those are again listed on the website. So take a look at what we have there, and for faculty and staff who want to mentor them, please propose your own. Right now it's basically Kai's ideas, and I really want it to be, ideas of people from across campus that people can get mentorship on. And then also we'll have some space for student ideas too, and you can just, form teams with each other and see if there's a faculty member who's interested in that idea over time as well. We're also going to do a showcase at the end of the quarter of different projects that come out of this space. And so if you, put together something interesting, then I hope you will join us and demo it in 7 weeks at our final session. And we booked the fancy St. Clair room in the university library, and we'll host sort of a variety of guests to check out what our students are creating here as a part of this program. As well as actually my software engineering course, which I'm also teaching as an AI first course this quarter. And then, as mentioned before, we're hoping that a number of the projects here will also be sort of incubated and going into different research labs across campus, certainly mine, but also other ones as well. So a preview of what we're doing this quarter, I'm going to talk about slide deck recipes with Claude Design. Luis, you want to give a pitch for what you're doing next week? We might need to check in, but I don't know if this is still current, but you want to just share a little bit?
I might want to change that. The thing I want to talk about next week is how to think like an engineer. Because I heard, like I saw that like a lot of you are not engineers, a lot of you are, so it would be great to get your feedback as well. But and I actually started there was somebody else who was supposed to teach a game today, so I actually started changing my topic, and I thought it was actually better. So it's not going to be necessarily about a game, but it's going to be a real example that I was just talking with my son, who's not a CS major, and just a little bit of a spoiler. At some point, he tried vibe coding, and he said, "Well, I'm glad I didn't waste 4 years of my life studying CS." So I was like, but I don't quite agree, and I think it's because studying CS, you learn how to think like an engineer, which is still useful. And I'd like to share that with everybody else here, not just the CS people, but like the non-CS as well, so that hopefully we can get a taste of that. So come next week.
Awesome. And then, as mentioned before, Cameron is going to present in 2 weeks on Ralph Loops for travel planning. Then we're going to have Sanjeev. You want to share a little bit about your session?
Yeah, so just like Luis, I might actually seen the variety and sort of, the group here. I'll definitely do something with Jupyter Notebooks, but there are, because we just launched version 3 of the notebook. It's personas, and personas have very interesting sort of attributes to them. And I just built a new repo that allows you to build multiple agents. And what we can do is sort of probably have everybody build agents, because it's an agent builder where you don't need to know how to code. And that way I can get a whole bunch of contributions to my project in one afternoon and build a library for those. So that's what I was thinking. Otherwise, I might do reinforcement learning problems in finance, which is sort of stuff I do with Professor Ostrom in the math department. Cool. Or we can get him to come and do one.
Sure.
On that separately, so
we can do that
so
too.
I'll ask him about that. Some of you know Ostrom, right?
And then we're going to, have Neo talk about AI workflows for real world conversation. That'll be in the real estate industry. And then, Foley's colleague will be talking about OpenClaw for work, I think. So, we're looking forward to that as well. And then we'll have a demo night. And so that'll be an evening session at the end of the quarter as well to show off our projects. All right, so that's all I have to say as an intro. What we'll do now is let people get set up with Claude Pro as a tool. So if you were able to sign up, we'll send you a gift subscription, and you should be able to download it and get started. Make sure you download the desktop version, and you can start playing around with it. You can also use Claude Design, which is what we're going to be trying out a little bit as well. Make sure that you don't burn through all of your tokens before we do our actual session, because we will need to use some of them as a part of this activity. Unfortunately, this sort of visual design work is very token intensive, I can say. And so we want you to have at least some tokens left over for that. Yeah, Anthony.
So just, do you have like a dashboard or a gas tank of tokens? Do you know where you're at?
Yes, good question. So I can show you where that lives in my Claude, so you can be aware of how you check that. So here's my Claude desktop, and you go to settings and usage, and you can see what your weekly limits are. It breaks it out for different sort of durations and different services. So you can see the plan usage limits across all models for their